55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it.
Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/choice55 to learn more.
With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 new lines with autopay for well-qualified customers plus taxes, fees, and $35 per line connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
You see somebody down, you don't keep kicking at them. You help them get up. And I feel like, I'm in this spot right now.
Denzel has been homeless for 2 years.
Yeah, I'm dealing with stuff, but sooner or later, I'm going to come back from it. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to do something big.
Homeless, but not hopeless.
And I got a lot of talents. I'm not a person that, don't know what I have.
I'm Leanne Rhymes. Join me and Stand Up for Kids in the fight to get our kids off the streets. Find out how you can help at standupforkids.org.
Broadcasting from the Raffi Law Group studio. KGME Phoenix, KESC HD3 Phoenix. Make us the #1 preset on the new and improved iHeartRadio app.
On to Rory McIlroy.
Rory McIlroy, pitch shot on the way. This is an eagle pitch from behind the green on his way to the hole, and he's got it! A fist bump from McIlroy. He's down 9 under par and has taken the lead in the Masters.
The call on Sirius XM Masters Radio. McIlroy with a 6 under 66 in round 3, so he's got a 2-shot lead at 12 under par overall. Bryson DeChambeau is 2 back at 10 under. It'll be McIlroy and DeChambeau teeing off the final pairing of the final round today at 2:30 Eastern. Baseball on Saturday night. The Chicago Cubs beat the Dodgers in L.A. 16-0. They scored 14 runs over the last 3 innings, hitting 4 home runs on the night. And the Arizona Diamondbacks scored 5 runs in the bottom of the 9th inning to stun Milwaukee 5-4. I'm Isaac Lowenkron.
Parker & Sons Weather Center. For all your AC, plumbing, and electric needs, call Parker.
We're going to finish off the weekend on a warm note. We'll see about 94 degrees this afternoon with a mix of clouds and sunshine. Overnight, fair skies and 68. For the Fox 10 weather experts, I'm Corey McCloskey.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. The Ego Power Plus Savings event is on at Lowe's. Right now, get a free Select Eco 56-volt battery with purchase of a Select Ego trimmer, blower, or mower kit. Only at Lowe's. They help you save. Offer valid through 4/16. Selection varies by location while supplies last.
Don McDowell Outdoor Radio is sponsored by Elevate Design Group. It's time for Don McDowell Outdoors on Fox Sports 910. A show for the avid fisherman and hunter looking for tips from the pros. Now here's your host, a saltwater fisherman and the man that fears no fish. He's the Bass Daddy and a tournament pro, Don McDowell.
Good morning. I want to welcome everybody to the show. Thank you for taking time out of your day to join us in our house while we join you in your house, your truck, your boat, anywhere that you're doing stuff outside today. It's a great day for it. We've got a lot of stuff to go over. We're going to be hunting exotics down in Mexico. I'm proud to introduce my son, Don Jr. is here with us. He just got back from an excursion down south. We'll talk about that. We're going to be interviewing his outfitter that he went with, Tony Vasquez, Wild Pursuit Outfitters. Captain Bill, we're going to touch base with him. I talked to Captain Bill last night. The Malahini boat is back in the water. We'll find out what happened to the boat actually when the Mexican Navy boat bumped into it. 8 o'clock, we got Captain Chaos. I guess I have to call him Colonel Chaos now. With Sheriff Wynn from Bozeman, Montana. Chris Rich is on a fishing trip. I think he's up in the White Mountains. We'll visit with him. And then James Guggenauer, we had the Center for Biological Diversity item number 3. on the agenda last Friday at the commission meeting. It was voted down. So the moratorium for hunting apex predators, lions, tigers, bears, etc. in Arizona failed. I don't think it's over yet, so we'll do some housekeeping on that. But I want to welcome my son is here. Oh, my gosh.
Hey, Dad.
What are you doing, buddy?
Well, I'm going to wake early. I know that.
Hey, 24 years at 6 o'clock in the morning, Sunday morning. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for coming down. I know you guys, put in a lot of long, hard hours, and I called my grandsons to, have all the boys in here today, and they're down at Country Thundering.
Yeah, thundering would be a good adjective to use for that.
Yeah, I'm sure there's no alcohol involved.
No alcohol, no chasing women. I'm sure they're fine young men, right?
Of course. Yes. Well, I'm glad you came down. I was excited to see your photographs that you sent. Now, let me set the table. I don't hear from him, so he takes off, and I don't know where my son is, and then I get these pictures of exotic animals. So he just goes and hunts and then tells me when he gets around to it. So it's all good. So, okay, so you load up your bags and you take off and you go down to Mexico. Set the table for us. What'd you do? Where'd you go? What'd you shoot?
Yes, my good friend Eric Lewis and Tony Vasquez. Tony Vasquez runs Wild Pursuit Outfitters. He's got a relationship with an exotic game ranch an hour outside of Monterrey, Mexico, which is about a 3-hour flight from Phoenix, nonstop, 5-hour or 5.5-hour drive from San Antonio. We did a little road trip. I flew into San Antonio. The guys picked me up, and we headed down to Monterey. Nice, easy drive, no problems whatsoever. Beautiful. Beautiful
now, did you drive to Monterey or did you fly?
No, I flew into San Antonio, then we drove down to Monterey, which is about a 6-hour drive. I'm a little older now, so I have to stop a few times to take bathroom breaks. So
it's going to get worse.
Yeah, I can imagine. Nice, easy drive.
That's where those 16-ounce Budweiser cans come into play.
Exactly. In my case, they're 16-ounce hot chocolate. Yeah, but So before you know it, the desert kind of looked like a cross between the Congo and the Cave Creek, recreational area, right?
So we're talking rainforest and in desert.
Rainforest meets mesquite. Let's put it that way.
Wow.
So we were kind of down on the mountains were very rainforesty, but we were down on the desert floor. So it looked real similar to what we see out here in the desert, and just kind of. We drove into this beautiful clubhouse, ranch area, beautiful accommodations, luxury accommodations, I would say.
Better than Rancho Seco?
Oh, yeah. It's if Rancho Seco had 3.5 stars, this was definitely a 5-star venue. Yeah. Gorgeous place. The people were great. The ranch owner and his son were our guides. We got top-notch service from those two.
Wow.
They're intimate with, of course, with all aspects of their animals. A huge variety of African animals.
Before
Asian
you get into that,
animals.
let me ask you this. I'm trying to picture this. How many acres do you know that encompasses the ranch?
he has quite a few acres. I believe the area that we were hunting. I believe, and Tony might need to correct me on this, but. It was 10,000 acres where we were, but I think he has over 100,000 acres of other ranches and hunting areas under his belt.
Well, that's pretty impressive. How long have they been doing exotic game hunts? Do you know?
Yeah, I think this was set up. It's been in his family for years. It was sold out of his family. Then he bought it back. I believe I want to say in the late 80s or early 90s and made it to what it is now, which is just a fantastic destination for exotic game hunting. And I mean, you're transported to the Serengeti. That's what it reminds me of, when you and I, when I was a kid, we watched Mutual of Omaha, Wild Kingdom kind of a thing.
Yeah.
That's what I remember. This place looks exactly like that. Yeah, it's just an incredible ranch. And animal, you can't drive or walk, more than 10 minutes without seeing something exotic, which was just, to me, born and raised in Arizona, I haven't been on any type of exotic game ranch like that, but seeing that was it was just mind blowing.
Well, the list that you sent me, about 17, almost 20 different species and sexes of animals to hunt. What did you focus in on?
Yeah, I opted for the axis deer. That was one of the bucket list items that I wanted.
Beautiful animal.
Because I've heard they taste delicious. So that was the main reason. So I really wanted to harvest a axis deer, and they had a couple trophy axis deer available. They hadn't seen them in quite a while, but they knew they were there. They had a real tall one and a real wide one. And when I say trophy, you measure the main beam, one of the main beams. If it's approaches 30 inches or goes past 30 inches, the main beam on either side, then that's trophy quality. So we got out there. It was a Thursday afternoon, around noon. We kind of talked at the clubhouse, had a couple of drinks, had some snacks. And before you know it, we're getting dressed up, and we're just going to take a ride around the ranch to kind of check stuff out. So, yeah, and before you know it, we were into some of the craziest animals that I've ever seen in my life. They have Rocky Mountain elk there, and I, of course, that's my game of choice. Right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I pull up my binoculars. I'm looking at this herd of elk. Of course, the bulls don't have, they've dropped their antlers right now. But I'm looking at this herd of elk, and in the same reticle, 100 yards past the herd of elk, was a giraffe.
Get out of here.
I'm pretty sure there's only a few people on the planet that have looked through their binoculars, seen a herd of Rocky Mountain elk, and a wild giraffe just moseying down.
That's got to be one of a kind. I mean, that never happens.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was just incredible seeing that. And then later on that evening, we spotted some axis deer, and we went in pursuit of them. Yeah. So we found a herd probably 400 or 500 yards away, and we got out of the little Ranger and put a stalk on them. The owner was guiding me, walking through what again looks like the Serengeti. And the only thing that was going through my mind, like, hey, I forgot to ask if he has lions on, wild lions.
That question is on my list.
Yeah. So,
lions and tigers and cheetahs and
a couple times. So he does have some cats, some big cats on his property.
Mean cats.
Yeah, leopards,
kill you,
jaguars, things like that. So, but anyway, we got within shooting distance of this axis deer. It was the tall one that he had. We just lucked out. He's been hunting that for about a week, trying to find it and locate it. We did it the first night, which was great. It was hot and humid, and I put a good shot on it about 200 yards away. Smacked him right in the pumper, and it was down. And I sent you the pictures of it. A beautiful animal.
We got that up on Facebook? Okay, cool.
A beautiful animal. That animal is one of the most gorgeous animals I've ever seen in the wild.
Absolutely. Now, similar to Rancho Seco, they take care of the game for you. And
yeah, look, we pay a lot of money, right? So I didn't, the only time I got to touch the animals when I was taking pictures with it. And
so this is a gentleman's
my hand on it.
I like it.
And bless the Lord. And the rest, the guys came, threw it in the back. Well, it's not a very big animal, so we just picked it up and threw it in the back of the Ranger. And then the guys took it back to the skinning house and processed it for me.
Bingo. Been there, done that. All right, well, more on that. When we come back, we're going to talk to Tony Vasquez, owner-operator of Wild Pursuit Outfitters, and we'll get Tony's take on how Donnie did. So we got Donnie's side of it. Now we're going to get Tony's side. We'll be right back. This is Fox Sports 910. Okay, I want to welcome Tony Vasquez. We have him on the phone from in Texas. Tony, good morning. How are you, sir? Hello, Tony. We're having a little bit of a technical difficulty. Okay, you there, Tony? Okay. All right. Well, we're trying to figure Tony out here. So, how many days were you down there on the hunt? Actual?
Yeah, we got there Thursday, and I believe we left Saturday night. And then Tony took us. Took us to Monterey for a little mini guys vacation. So we enjoyed the town of Monterey. Went to a steakhouse and nice hotel, and got to look at the city, which was a fantastic. It's the second largest city in Mexico. Beautiful city surrounded by rainforest mountains. Just gorgeous people. It's just a great place.
Was there any fishing opportunities on the rancho?
You know, oddly, well, funny that you say that. Yes, he's got a small lake with some monster bass, is what I've been told, and I know my friend,
Alligators.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't put it past him. Did not explore that, but of course, when I saw the body of water, the first thing that went through my head were alligators.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But I know my good friend Aaron Hoffman's going to be there. You know, Aaron, he'll be there in a couple weeks. He loves fishing. I told him to bring a pocket rocket kind of fishing thing because there's supposed to be some monster bass in the water holes over there.
So. The Ronco.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. He'll fit in his pocket.
Yeah. Yeah, I happen to have 2 of those. So.
Yeah.
Okay, have we got Tony? Are you with us? No, Tony. Okay. Anyway, so at the end of the day, what preparations do you make, and what preparations didn't you make that you should have?
Yeah, I mean, we our first day there, we took the rifles, we looked over the rifles. We used the ranch's rifles. Very nice selection of rifles, Christensen Arms type firearms, custom triggers, Swarovski scopes. A 375 H&H was what they're chambered in, and 300 Wind Short. That's the rifle that I use. So we took a couple plinks at the various targets at various ranges to make sure we're comfortable. Shot off sticks. That's what we wanted to get comfortable shooting off sticks because that's how we would, after stalking animals out in the open,
Sure.
That's what we're going to shoot
Yeah,
off of.
is the range that you're in fairly well open?
Yeah, I mean, it's very thick, but where we were hunting, our opportunity, would go past 300 yards for sure. We didn't have to shoot that far on any of the 2 animals that I shot. We're, within a 200-yard limit, so it worked out real well. But yeah, there's some wide open shots. But when you're hunting these kind of large animals, you want to keep those long distance shots to a minimum.
Absolutely.
And the ranch owners will let you know. If they're comfortable letting you take that shot, they'll let you. But normally we'll try to put a stalk on to get within 200 yards.
What was the longest shot you had of the 2? So you had the axis deer and then the eland. Tell us about the eland.
Yeah, the eland is it's the largest African antelope, I think, walking. It's a cross between a pronghorn and a rodeo bull named Fu Manchu. That's what, just a muscular, very muscular antelope, huge, about the size of a horse, 1,500-pound animal, long, twisted, corkscrew kind of horns that are about 25 to 30 inches long. Huge animal, and they had quite a population of them over there. I shot a female that looked like a male. It was just a massive animal. So that one was only, that was less than 200 yards. The axis deer was around 200 yards, those shots. So both of them with that rifle that I was shooting knocked them in their tracks. I think the axis deer actually, it took off for about 40 or 50 yards. The eland, oddly enough, jumped up in the air and just crashed, and she was gone. So which was comforting. We didn't want to track a big animal like that. So
no.
I was blessed to have 2 good
quick,
shots.
ethical kill. Boom.
Yeah, absolutely.
Game over.
Yeah. So, seeing that herd of eland and how big they were.
How many was in the herd?
Probably about 20 to 25 animals, bulls and cows of the eland. So we saw them run by. They're very wary, spooky kind of animals. They don't stay in one spot very long. If anybody knows what a nilgai is, or similar to that, and spooky as a nilgai acts. So you don't get a lot of opportunity with it. This one, I got very lucky. She was very curious and protecting the other cows. She was, I guess, the herd mom.
Yeah, one of the matriarchs. Yes,
yes.
sir.
So she stood back while the other ones passed, and she made that fatal mistake. So, hard animals to hunt. You do have to hunt them over there. It's not just walk up and shoot what you want.
Yeah.
There's still hunting involved, hunting and stalking. So you gotta be on point on that. You gotta be able to walk long distances to get within range of some of these animals. And Eric, who I was with, he was going after a male eland and didn't have the luck that I was having. He ended up shooting a wildebeest, a blue wildebeest. But yeah,
that was a nice harvest.
Yeah, and he's a fantastic hunter, fantastic shot, and could not get within range of a male eland. So it's not always you don't always get what you want when you're on a game ranch.
Nope.
It's still hunting, by far. So, exciting time, a great time.
Yeah, it would be interesting to talk to Eric. Maybe we can get him on another time, visit with him.
Yeah, Eric's in Argentina right now on a red stag hunt, and I know his hands are full down there. So I think he's hunting. I don't know if last night was his last night or today, but he's not having luck on that game ranch. So, he's seen a lot of big bulls, passed on some bulls that were underneath 400 inches. He's looking for a 450 inch or above. Red stag, beautiful animals over there. But I don't know if he's having the best of luck right now. So I think he's getting ready to book a comeback tour in March, for the first hunt of the stag season. He'll be back there, unless he got lucky this morning. So.
Well, you tell him I have my Daisy Red Rider. He's welcome to use that at any time.
Yeah, absolutely. He's probably pretty deadly with that. He's a good shot.
He is. Well, we've hunted with him, or at least I have hunted with you guys down there at Rancho Seco a number of times, and he's a nice guy. Certainly knows his game animals, and especially on those whitetail herds.
Yeah, I don't know of another person that hunts more and has killed more whitetail than Eric. He lives and breathes whitetail. He's real big.
Kind of smells like one too.
Yeah, he does. He's into. He gets his kicks off managing his herd, that deer species down there. He's feeding them. He looks at the biological science of feeding them, how to get good mass, good growth from the animals.
Well, he's managed the gene pool. He's got the last time I was down there, the big push was getting the buck to doe ratio into a proper balance.
Yeah, he's actually the ranch owner, a wonderful man. He brought in some biologists from Texas A&M, I believe, or maybe another college and university in Mexico. But they did a roundup of does to get it to where the biologists thought it should be. So I think they pulled out, I want to say 80 does. I think there's probably another 30, and they relocated those does. But I think there's about 30 more to get it to where they really want the ratio to be. It's important for him to do that. To him, he managed that herd like it's his flock of sheep, and rightly so. It's an expensive process to do.
Yeah.
So,
what's the biggest score on whitetail buck down there thus far?
They could definitely approach 200 to 210 inches down there.
Well, if I remember correctly, one of the trips I was on, I believe he had a 198 or a 199.
Yeah, he could probably produce a couple of those, or maybe at least one of those a year. They could exceed 200 inches. Trophy class is anything above 150 inches over there. It's a big deer. So, and he has quite a few of those. He does a good job of teaching us who come to the ranch on what to shoot and what not to shoot. Sometimes guys like you and I listen. Sometimes we don't. So sometimes he gets a little angry with us. I know I've been there, and I know you have a what is that, Spoon and Crockett?
Yes, I've got the Spoon and Crockett shooting tomorrow's trophies today T-shirt. Thank you very much, Eric.
Yeah. So, but it's ongoing. It's a learning curve, and it's interesting to me as well.
Yes, but when he gives you instructions that if it's got a goofy horn, shoot it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, and then when you're hunting, you can say, "Well, that looks goofy to me." You can talk yourself into it real easily, and that's where I usually get in trouble.
Yeah. You and me both. Yeah. Okay, one quick question before we flip into a break. Snakes. What about snakes?
Yeah, I heard there was a lot over there. I didn't bring my snake boots like I usually would in Texas or in Sonora or south of Del Rio where we go hunting.
Hell, I wore my snake boots in Glendale.
Yeah,
Come on.
Yeah, I don't blame you. But we didn't see any. But I know they're out there. So I lucked out. I did wear my cowboy boots and not my Kenetrex out there just because of the snake population. But I was lucky not to see any snakes. I have to, real quick, I did go on a jog. During the middle of the day, there was nothing to do, so I went on a jog and completely forgot I was on an exotic game ranch, and I got about a mile and a half away from the clubhouse and realized I told myself, what the hell are you doing?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was scary, because the first thing was going through my mind was those leopards out there or a wildebeest or whatever, Asian water buffalo chasing me. So I turned around, took the headphones out of my ear, and it was the first time I sprinted in a long time, and I'm over 50 years old. So yeah, I sprinted right back to the thing after I figured out what the heck I was doing. So
yeah. Okay. Yeah, jogging and let's see, leopard jogging.
Yeah.
What could go wrong?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure if a leopard saw me, he'd tell himself if he pulled this off, he can eat like a king. So I did not want to be dinner. I didn't want Karma to come get me.
Nice.
So.
Okay, we got to get ready to flip into a break here at Fox Sports 910. We're still going to continue get Tony because I do want to chat with him. So anyway, stay with us. We have Don and Don here. We'll be right back on Fox Sports 910. Tony.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, Tony, have you got a copy over?
Yes, sir. I think we got it.
Okay, good deal. Hey, well, welcome to the show. I've got my bouncing baby boy Donnie Jr. in here, and boy, the stuff he's talking about, I can't believe you do all the things that he said. So, we've got your website up. WildPursuitOutfitters.com, guys. You can pick that up. But between you and Donnie, how long have you been doing this? And set the table for us. How do you arrange a trip for your clients, and what do you guys do?
Well, Don, I've been hunting all my life. I grew up here in Texas, and since I was a little boy, my dad would take me hunting. So my dad was a big outdoorsman. So I've been hunting and fishing and pretty much since I can remember. And then my kids, started, when they started becoming teenagers, I started taking them on hunting, and they really took to it as well. So I kind of stuck with it, and I really enjoy it. It's something that I really like to do, like being out in the outdoors. Some of the stuff that you see out there is just incredible that no other person's going to see unless they're out there in the wild with you. It's an experience that it's hard to explain. But I kind of stumbled upon this about a year, maybe 14 months ago. A friend of mine that does metal buildings, he builds them in Mexico and then he ships them over here to the U.S. He had some business clients that went hunting over there, and he showed me the pictures, and I was like, well, I didn't know there was, exotic game ranches in Mexico. And he goes, yeah, neither did I. And he goes, but let's go talk to him. So we went out there, started talking to him, and most of their clients are all from Mexico, and they said they'd love to have some American clients. So we came up with an agreement, and I'm the exclusive outfitter for anybody from the U.S. that wants to go hunt on that ranch.
Well, congratulations. We're on your website and looking at your gallery, and Donnie's told us the story of his hunt, which was pretty interesting. How many various game animals are available for harvest?
Well, right now there's 16 species that are available, and we have 3 more coming in the next year. So at the end of this year, we'll actually have some elk that'll be ready to harvest. In 2026, there's going to be kudu and sable available at the ranch. But,
wow.
I mean, yeah, we go from an Adex, Asian water buffalo, Axis, Barbary ram, black buck, eland, fallow, gemsbok, zebras. I mean, there's giraffes out there. Don saw some giraffes that those you can't shoot those. It's like you're on a safari. It really is.
No, yeah. Donnie was telling a quick tale about looking at a herd of elk, and then in the background having a couple of giraffe boogie by. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a 10,000 acre high fence ranch. It's big enough to where you can drive in there, and it doesn't seem like it's contained, but it is. And then it's the oldest and the largest exotic game ranch in Mexico.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, well, I'm kind of with Donnie. I mean, the exotics are great, but I love hunting elk and shooting big deer. I'm seeing some big mule deer down there.
Yep. So I work with a couple of other outfitters. One of them is from Mexico, and he does mule deer hunts. And the other guys, those elk pictures that you see, are from New Mexico. There's some outfitters that I work with in New Mexico as well. But I'm actually working on a deal with some ranches in Mexico where I would be the exclusive outfitter in Sonora for their mule deer ranches. And then I'm also working on some other deals there in Mexico. Since I've gotten into it, I'm starting to meet a lot more people, and I'm making some contacts, and expanding the different ranches that I can use.
Well, I'll tell you what, I keep up with the mule deer doing what I do, on a professional basis, and that Sonoran mule deer gene pool is just absolutely fantastic.
Yep, they are.
Yeah, Mexico, being close to Arizona and Tony's in Texas, and he and I have been to Hermosillo, Sonoran area, and we've gone on mule deer hunts over there. Tony killed a giant mule deer. It was close to 200 inches, I believe.
Wow.
It's just it just seems it's just like a new frontier, and the opportunity over there is just incredible. It's just it's one of my favorite places to hunt is Mexico, whether it be Sonora, Mexico, which is a few hours south of Nogales, to where we're at. Where the Seco's at, south of Del Rio, all the way down to Cienega, Los Angeles Ranch, where the exotic game ranch, which is out of, close to Monterey. It's just untapped. It seems to me it's just a new frontier. So, and I know Tony's been hunting Mexico quite a while, but to me it's just a fantastic, it just offers fantastic opportunity, Mexico does. People are great. It's not, their pastime, there's not a lot of hunters over there, right? So the amount of game that they have is incredible. Big game, too. Mexico is just, it's just an absolutely fun place to hunt. We've never had any problems. You hear about all stuff on the news. We've never ran into any problems. We've seen a few things that were questionable.
Yeah, but you just keep going.
We just keep going, yeah. They don't bother us. We're adding to the economy. Other than that, again, it's just if you're worried about hunting in Mexico or have any hesitations, I've been doing it for, I don't know, 7, 8 years now straight.
Yeah.
And it's just one of my favorite places to hunt. I almost forget to put in for deer in Arizona because I'm, so occupied with shooting deer over there or hunting deer over there. So,
yeah, it's like bass fishing in Mexico. You go down there and you bass fish for a week. You come back to Arizona, and you forget we even have lakes.
Yeah, yeah, or that size of bass, right? So,
yeah.
Same thing. You forget. Oh, yeah. The typical mule deer that you see, unless you can hunt hard at Desert Muleys and see some big ones here in Arizona, but. And, of course, on the Kaibab Strip. But, over there, the horses walk around everywhere, it seems like. So, 180-inch deer is just an average deer. 170-inch deer is an average mule deer down there.
That's a shooter.
Yeah. I harvested one in Sonora with Tony. It was a little bit past 170 inches. It was huge to me, from being from Arizona.
Yeah, absolutely.
But in actuality, like Tony's was, 20 or 30 inches bigger than my deer. So they're out there. Some massive game animals down there that it's just so much fun to hunt.
And
Tony, let me ask you a question. Tony, hang on just a second. Your cats, are they imported or are those indigenous jaguars?
The jaguars, they're indigenous.
Yeah, they're indigenous.
Okay.
No, they're indigenous. Yeah, that's the animals that are there in that area. Yeah.
Yeah, the predators on that ranch were, they're all. He doesn't import any predator type animals.
Okay,
but those spotted jaguars, he said, that were over there.
Yeah, they're all indigenous.
Yeah. He doesn't want them over there, of course. So nothing to eat calves. So, but they have occasional coyotes and in the lions and mountain lions, I believe, as well as the jaguars. Anything you'd see south of the border.
Tucson.
Here. Yeah, you got the big jaguars here on that southeast part of the state.
Yeah, we just listened to CBD whining about the jaguars in Arizona.
Yeah, so they're there, but nothing's like getting chased by a wildebeest, I'm sure. So, there's other predatory animals. If you're just a guy jogging with only a pair of shorts and some shoes, You don't want to be in that kind of mix. So.
That's a universal rule. If you run, something's going to chase you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I had to remind myself. But Tony's like, go ahead, go to the next gate. And well, I got to the gate, and I realized where I was.
Tony.
Thanks a lot, Tony.
I was like, if you're not back in 30 minutes, we'll go look for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's part of the exercise program. Tony, we got about a minute left. Give your phone number and your website and how to get in touch with you for the guys that want to visit with you.
All right. Well, my website is wildpursuitoutfitters.com. My phone number is 210-906-0494. You can call me or text me, and we can set up hunts starting for the fall of this year. We have some available. So I'd love to have some people go out there and experience it. And I know once they start going out, it's, that word of mouth is really what helps a lot. And once one person experiences it and sees how comfortable you are down there, it'll just keep rolling.
One final question: are you able to bring your meat back to the U.S.?
Yeah. So one of the things is that's the service I provide. I actually bring the meat and the trophy because the prices that I have include a shoulder mount, and so I will actually bring the meat and the trophy back to San Antonio, and then from San Antonio, if you need it shipped to Arizona, then that would be additional. But everything comes back to San Antonio.
That is outstanding. Okay, guys, Tony, I'm going to thank you for your time today. I'd like to have you back as a regular guest because this is certainly worthwhile talking about in a hell of an opportunity. So, guys, you get him at wildpursuitoutfitters.com, and once again, 210-906-0494.
Correct.
And I got to thank you for taking care of my son. So.
No problem, man. He's a lot of fun to be with.
Yeah, he is. All right, well, we'll do this again, Tony. You have the best of the rest of the day.
Likewise, guys. Y'all take care.
See you, Tony.
Bye.
All right, we got to flip into a break here at Fox Sports 910. More of Don and Don when we come back. Back, Donnie, we're going to change gears and go to the left coast. They call that the left coast for a reason with our good friend Captain Bill Malahini Sport Fishing and HorizonSportFishing.com. Captain Bill, good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing today?
You know, life is good. I got my son in here. You've met him on board the Malahini, and we're kind of wondering what kind of a season we're going to have. I'm hearing pods of fish down at Mag Bay, Yellowtail, and Punta Colonet has had a little bit of activity. What are you hearing?
There's all kinds of stuff down there. Huh?
Are they moving north, or are they just sedentary?
I don't know. Last year we didn't have anything till for October.
Yeah,
that
last year was really late.
Nothing pushed up past 400 miles.
Well, I see you've got the Horizon running full day trips. They've got you on the dock count for April the 12th yesterday for 23 anglers and quite a boatload of bottom fish.
Yeah, bottom fishing's been pretty good, man. I'm not gonna lie. We were down there the pile 2 weeks ago, and it was brown green water, 59 degrees. I really believe things are coming back or going back to normal. And a lot of people ask me, what do I mean by that?
Yeah, we don't want. I have no idea what normal means.
Huh?
I said I have no idea what normal is anymore.
Yeah, well, we had 7 years of the water not getting below 60 degrees. Which killed all the kelp, which did a lot of things. That to me was not normal for San Diego or Southern California in that sense. I think with the advent of that warm water pushing in 3 years, or that colder water pushing in 3 years ago, the first time in 7 years that I saw below 60-degree water. And typically, well, I'm old school. Back in the day, we would start fishing for yellowtail and yellowfin and dorado and skipjack tuna. The first week of March when I worked on the producer, we ran Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and we fished the Coronado Islands in overnight trips. And we were sold out Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. About the second week of April, we would start to transition to offshore a little bit, taking what we call exploratory trips.
Yeah.
Looking for that, yellowtail on kelp. The fishing has evolved so much that, you got guys fishing at night now, catching bluefin tuna. I have my own ideas about that, but whatever. It is what it is. We have to do what we have to do to evolve and stay relevant in this industry as it is now.
Well, as we've learned, there's a whole subculture out there that fishes at nighttime for the bluefins. I mean, that a couple of years ago that was a thing, and it's I think part of the accepted normal by now.
Yeah, well, it's the norm. Guys, are we fishing tonight? No, we're traveling 120 miles. I don't think we'll be fishing this evening, unless we see something on the way down.
Sure.
And we're looking, but we have a destination in mind. That's where we're going.
Okay. How's the schedule stacking up for the Horizon on day and a half multi-day trips?
Our August is sold out. Our September, I think we have 5 or 6 open dates. where you can book open party trips. Other than that, we're chartered. Our July is starting to shape up now. You know, we're on the landing schedule at H&M for some open party trips and things like that. But, I mean, for the most part, it's going to be a solid season for the boat, I believe.
Yeah, good. Okay, well, that's great news. So have you gotten past your U.S. Coast Guard inspections on both vessels?
Yeah, everything's done. You know, we're in the process of getting the Malahini back in the water here on the 22nd, I do believe. And then we have to do our annual with that boat. The Horizon's already done.
Yeah, cool. All right. Well, you know, Donnie, that Malahini boat's got the biggest John Deere tractor motors you ever saw.
I can imagine. My question is, how do you, if they're going to start fishing at night, when are the fishermen going to be able to sober up?
That's a good question. It's funny because a lot of them sleep during the day.
Yeah.
A lot of them
I've
sleep
done it a
during
couple
the day.
times.
Yes, they do learn to adapt. Yeah.
Well, you know what I mean? If you don't evolve, you get left behind.
Yeah, that's
you know,
fact.
I mean, and that's just the way it is.
It
you know,
is.
evolution as a whole is real.
Yeah. Yeah,
You know,
I think Darwin had, you know, hit it on the head a few times. Not that I agree
Yeah.
with all of it, but most of it. All right,
You know,
well,
we're
listen, we're gonna wish you the best the rest of the day, and we'll look forward to coming over there and pestering you here pretty quick. We've got to get through October and part of May, and then things ought to be lightened up where we can get out of town for a day or two.
All right, come down and see us, Don.
All right, God love you, Bill. Love what you're doing, man. Take care of the boats and give my best to the family.
Will do. Love your show, man.
Mahalo. Okay.
All right.
All right, there you go. They got the big boat. You know, he bought that Horizon boat.
Is that Blue Horizon that I fished on
No,
in the 1980s?
no. The Horizon was the big dive boat.
Gotcha.
It's an 80-footer, 25 feet wide, berthing for 30, galley seating for 40. It's a big boat.
Yeah, there's nothing more competitive than being on an 80-foot boat with 35 fishermen.
Or 50. Yeah.
Or 50.
Yeah.
Jockeying
All right,
for
we
a
got to
spot.
flip into a break, get this first hour shut down. When we come back, Coffee and Chaos with Colonel Chaos. Wherever there's chaos, the Colonel is not far behind. All right, we're back. Waiting for Coffee and Chaos with Captain, I changed his name, Colonel Chemo, and we'll be talking to Sheriff Wynn, see if he's been in the pickle jar.
No, out of pickles, Don.
No?
I've been out of pickles.
All right, what are you guys up to today?
Well, hopefully we're going to do a show a little later today. We got a guy, one of our local business guys. He is retiring out of the military, and he just got done with a soldier challenge up in our we have a high altitude training center here for the military, and so they just did a soldier challenge out there this last week. So hopefully we can get a hold of him and get him on the show and talk about how that went and how things are looking with him and his retirement after all these years. So should be good. It's just waiting on him to call us back.
Okay, good. So what's happening at the M406 Rifle Company? Hooey.
No, nothing new and exciting just yet. We're working on a couple of projects, trying to do 300 Win Mag on the AR platform, but we got a couple other things we're doing. We just can't talk about them yet. They're kind of still in the beginning stages. So that's about it on the 406 side.
Okay. Well, here's another question. We've got airplanes falling out of the sky again. What's going on? Is that happenstance, or they have an electronic magnetic pulses? What's going on?
I take it you're referring to the helicopter in the Hudson. You're referring to that Cessna 310 at Boca Raton.
Well, yeah, it's just, it seems like every week we've got airplanes just, falling out of the sky, and, you look back over the year, yeah, we have one once in a while, but man, it's just been one after the next. And then that Ford that you're driving, did you get the dashboard Christmas tree lights all figured out?
My Ford? That's awesome, Doug.
Okay, the Gulfstream. my son's in there. He doesn't know. Colonel Chemo flies a Gulfstream. The other day I mentioned I thought it was a Learjet, and he got all pissy, So.
Well, it's like saying, hey, you drive a Pinto when you drive a Ferrari. Get the classification of the car right?
Yeah. Well, the main thing is you guys were having some problems. A couple of weeks ago, you're on the ground for 3 weeks or 3 days trying to get this thing figured out. So you just have a little bit of a hiccup, or is it a chronic issue?
No, it's just certain parts of aircraft just more faster than others, and so it's currently being taken care of. She should be up and running here in a couple of days, back to normal. So nothing too strenuous. Just making life a little interesting at altitude for sure.
Okay, great. So we're clearing the path, Donna. We're going to have in Chemo. You can kind of give us a rundown. We've got Eric from Meprolite coming in. Who's coming down from Vector Optics?
You were coming in really broken. I think you asked me who's coming down from Vector Optics. Who will come down at the end of the month. It'll be Dean and Dan from Vector Optics, myself, AJ will be there. We had Dave from Sometimes will be down there. Eric will not be able to come from that run, unfortunately. He's going to be at a competition. Matter of fact, he has two of the 406 rifles that they're using for it, which is super cool. One with the Mepro Optics for a shooting competition. But, it should be us down there at the end of the month, and it should be a great show, bringing plenty of optics. Some night vision, some thermal stuff, and couple of 406 and maybe an Atrius rifle or two as well.
Yeah, well, we've had quite a bit of interest on that on the blackout platforms you're building. What do you have available? You're talking about 8.6 and some of the 6.5s.
Yeah, and like I said, everything that we do are all custom builds. We don't really have a whole lot of just running around waiting for somebody to purchase. But yeah, the 300 blackouts we can do them, all the way down from 7.5 inch barrel all the way up to, you really wanted a 20 or a 22. Yeah, we could do that too in our T1 series. But those are pretty two highly sought out rounds right now.
Okay. Anything more on the 6.5 Grendels?
6.5 Grendel. Don, you're coming really broken, so I'm having a hard time understanding you.
Yeah, we've got a bad connection. I don't know what the issue is. I think next week we're going to stand down for Easter, but and then the following week you guys will be in here. But at some point in time, we need to maybe get you and Wynn on a conference call, and then call you and see if that'll work.
Yeah, we could try that.
Yeah, because we keep having, Sheriff, do you have indoor plumbing, or are you out in an outhouse up there?
What was that? In-house plumbing or outhouse? Well, it depends on the day. Depends on what's going on. I'd like to say that it's always indoor plumbing, but that's a man-made creature, and that doesn't always work.
Yeah, that's a fact. We just had. We're going to talk about this later on in the show, but we had a moratorium for hunting with hounds voted down this past Friday at the commission meeting. Have you had HSUS or Center for Biological Diversity up there with petitions on hunting with hounds or pursuit?
Yeah, we can't use. Well, you can use hounds for mountain lion during a certain period of time during the year. I know some guys have tried to use or deer. It's just not something that's utilized here. It's actually against the law for a dog to chase a hoofed animal. And so actually the law says that if you find a dog chasing a hoofed animal, you can dispatch that dog immediately. Hunting
ungulates is not the thing to do, but your apex predators, lions and bears. Do you have a faction that runs bear up there?
What's that, Don?
Do you run bears up there with hounds?
Well, they do a little dog, but it's just it's just that lion season. It's like 2 months long, and that's about it.
Okay. Well, we're having some technical difficulties. We'll talk offline later on today, Colonel, and make plans for the having you guys in studio on the 27th. If you can hear me, is Eric still active with the Israeli Defense Force?
Defense Force.
Johnny, you're breaking up pretty bad now.
Okay, we're going to kick you loose. There's no sense in kicking this can down the street any further. So, love you guys. We'll talk post airtime. Sorry about the technical difficulties. We need to look into this and see how we can get beyond this. So, anyway, moving on. Let's go back to Monterey. Talk a little bit about your preparation, because that seems to be a big deal. I'm getting some text messaging on here about, gee, what do I need to take?
Yeah. You can be hunting in the desert. So, some light clothing. I was pretty, I have my favorite kind of camo that I like, King's camo. So I'm outfitted with their lightweight kind of camo. A good pair of snake boots, not going to hurt you. The tall boots. Other than that, some quality optics on your chest is needed. You'll be looking at a lot of animals. I have a backpack with essentials.
Peanut butter sandwiches.
Peanut butter sandwiches. Yeah, you bet. Some Snickers and a water bladder. A big pokey knife, something to poke things with that you don't want to get too close with is always a good idea.
You have a bad habit of doing that.
Yeah, I've had to. You don't want to ruin a bunch of meat, so there's a few times where I hadn't had the shot that I wanted, and there's other ways to dispatch an animal rather than using another round. So I've been known to do that. I think down at the Seiko they call me Rambo. To have that.
We have other names for you up here.
We have, you have to have a good quality knife. Throw that in your check-in bag with your backpack. Other than that, you don't need a lot. So they take care of, handling the animal, skinning the animal, things like that. So you don't need to bring a lot. Just hunting for a few days, some camos, change underwear.
So when you go out, you get breakfast. They bring you back.
No, you go out. We grab coffee. And then take off. When we get back from that morning hunt, we'll sit down at the clubhouse, debrief what we saw, and then the ladies will come and feed us a fantastic breakfast, usually tacos.
Nice.
Of various exotic game meats, which is always fun. And then we go back and catch up on our sleep, take a nap.
Siesta.
Yeah, we have a good amount of downtime in between hunts, so there's, like I said, I went off, go for a walk, a jog kind of thing. You definitely get caught up on your sleep. It's hot during the day. The animals run for cover. They get out of the sun. And it's just not conducive to good hunting.
Morning and evening.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. We got to flip into a break. When we come back, we'll see if we can get a hold of Chris Rich, see what he's up to. Don and Don here at Fox Sports 910. Okay, it's time for Chris Rich, Arizona Fly Shop, where the adventure begins. All right, what's the adventure of the day?
Well, I'll tell you what, Don McDowell, we had a heck of a nice day yesterday out in the Arizona desert backcountry. Springtime is a great time to be out on these bass lakes in the desert here in Arizona, and we were well rewarded yesterday for some efforts that we made to get through the backcountry. Beautiful day. Beautiful day.
Nice. Okay, where did you end up going?
Well, we ended up on Horseshoe Reservoir above Bartlett Lake on the Verde River system. It's a little tougher lake to get to. It's a dirt road to get up to it. We did some four-wheel driving, went in around the backside, crossed the Verde River, and then found our way up there, inflated our pontoon boats and float tubes, and got out there and got into some really nice bass.
I saw that. Yeah, we got your video posted up, but it was nice to see a bass instead of a trout in the boat. Not that there's anything wrong with trout.
I tell you what, those bass on a fly rod are fun to catch. They give a nice tug, and we say the tug is the drug.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
bent pole is the goal, and a nice 3 to 5 pound largemouth bass does a good time of giving you a tug and giving you the drug, giving you the bent pole. It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
Okay, so I've got my son in here, Don Jr. This is Chris Rich. You guys need to know each other. But he just got back from an exotic hunt down in Mexico. You're getting ready to go to Cuba. What preparations do you go through to go to Cuba? It's a little bit different than driving down to Monterey.
Yeah, it is a little bit different. So we've got 16 people going down. We're leaving Thursday night. We got a red-eye flight to Miami and then a 1-hour jaunt from Miami down to Camagüey, Cuba. You do have to have a visa to go into Cuba, and the visa we're going to have is a research visa. So we're going to be part of a team doing a check on the marine sanctuary of Cuba. So we're going to be working on a fish count on a daily basis. How many fish did you catch? What kind of fish? Great, thank you for the information. We'll put it in our research report.
You know, that is the most awesome twist on sneaking into Cuba that I've ever heard.
Hey, this is not a sneak in. Like we are researchers. You didn't know this about me, but this is like part of what I do is I'm in the research world here, John.
Okay, son. Here's what he does. He's a researcher in the canals here for grass carp.
There you go.
Yeah, with the fly rod.
Someone's
hey,
got to do it.
listen, this is serious. This is serious business. I got to devote some serious time to this. Like, people need to have this research. Come on now.
I know. I mean, who knew we had 40 and 50 pound grass carp in the canal?
Yeah, no, it's so we've got a visa to go in. There's some paperwork we've got to fill out to, finalize everything like 48 hours before. I mean, quite frankly, I guess it's just formalities that you've got to do between, whatever the political thing is up high on both sides. But I'll tell you what, the people of Cuba are wonderful people. And I find that everywhere I go. The people are wonderful. Yeah, the governments may have disagreements between each other, but on the ground level, person to person, they're just like we are. They want to have a great life. They want to take care of each other. They want to take care of, people that are coming there. And so, they're wonderful people. The fishing is fantastic. In fact, I will tell you, in Cuba, I don't think I've ever fished with better guides. Now,
really? Okay.
The fishing guides in Cuba do incredibly, incredibly well. The average wage in Cuba is about $25 a month. And I'm not kidding you. That's what it is. It's very, very low. These guides are making, probably averaging $600 to $1,200 a week. And so they know they've got a good gig, and they don't want to screw it up, but they do a really, really good job of putting you on fish and just having a great experience when you're down there. So it's a real treat to be able to go down and fish in Cuba. And the other thing is, there's not people out there fishing in Cuba. 90 miles north in Florida, you got 50 million people fishing, and the fish feel that pressure. So,
you go down to Cuba, like I always say, if you want to catch a lot of fish, fish where there's a lot of fish. There's a lot of fish in Cuba because they don't get pressured.
How about your accommodations? How far from your hotel or where you're staying to the fishing grounds?
Oh, it might be about 27, 28 steps.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, you literally walk across this little one-lane road, and here's the boats. Grab your rods, get on the boats, and head out to the. You're on the flats when you take off. They've got different zones that they take you into, so they can kind of manage where you go. They've got 6 different zones, and so what they like to do is rotate you through the zones, so you get to see some different water. There should be migratory tarpon coming through down there, so we should have some shots at some 150 to 200 pound tarpon. That would be kind of fun.
Yikes.
At least one,
Yeah.
only one time. Just one time. I'll just take one of those and then I'll be done. That's a lot of work to get one of those in. Tons of bonefish, lots and lots of bonefish, and very good sized bonefish, 10 to 12 pound bonefish. Most places in the world, you're lucky if you're getting a 5 to 6 pound bonefish.
For sure.
So there'll be a lot of bonefish, and you'll have a lot of shots on permit, which are real tough to get in the saltwater flats. Even though you have a lot of shots, they're still going to be tough to get. Snook, we'll probably have some shots at barracuda. We're taking barracuda gear because that'd be fun to catch a nice barracuda. So almost all, like 98% of the fishing we'll be doing down there is going to be on crystal clear flats. And the water, might be knee deep. So the fish are real spooky in that kind of water. You got to make a good executed cast. And then when you hook them, they're spooked and they run. It's fun. It's fun to have them hooked up. So,
are you fly rod fishing there? I know tarpon. I know I've watched a bunch of guys catch tarpon off fly rods. Is that what you're doing over there?
That's all we do, baby. AZ Fly Shop.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, we.
Sorry,
we
I'm
fly
new to the
fish.
group.
There are guys that I know that there's places that guys will spin fish for them, but that's not what we do for them. We like to fly fish for them. So, yeah, everybody's getting excited. The excitement's getting built up. Everybody's calling each other, talking about the gear and what about this, what about that, and so it's going to be a good trip. I'll make some good videos down there, and I'm going to try to see if I have coverage when I'm down there, Don. So shoot me a message on Saturday, and I'll see if we can't be in an area where we can do a call right there from Cuba out on the flats.
Okay, what day are you going to be down there?
I'm going to leave. I'll be down there on Friday. So I'll be in Friday, and I know when I'm on the land, I know I've got cell phone coverage almost everywhere.
Okay,
when we go out on the flats, that I don't know what we'll have.
Okay, we're going to stand down for Easter.
Was next week Easter?
Yeah, the 20th, right?
Okay.
Okay.
I'll be home then the following Sunday. I'll be home. I get home on that Saturday night, so we'll be good.
Okay. All right, yeah. Well, give me a call when you get back to town. We've got the 27th. We've got the 406 Rifle Company guys coming in from Bozeman, Montana. A couple folks coming in from Utah at Vector Optics, and then a couple folks coming in from Meprolite Optics as well. So, we got a lot of stuff to cover.
Nice.
But
I will also say I'm getting some great fishing reports from the mountains. I know the streams are pretty low up there because the low water we've had this wintertime. But the lakes are fishing great up there right now. Game and Fish has been stocking. They've been putting a bunch of fish in. I think they're a little worried about where they're going to be able to put fish all summer long. So they've been putting a bunch of fish in lakes: Woods Canyon Lake, Willow Springs Lake, Fool's Hollow Lake, Sholo Lake. They're getting fish out into those lakes right now, and I'm getting a lot of great reports from people having a good time up there. So if you're wanting to get out and get the tug, that's a great place to go do it right now.
Okay, let me ask you this. How many folks are going to Cuba with you?
16. There'll be 16 folks on this trip.
Okay. All right. Well, Godspeed, man. Just watch your six down there and just have a great time.
Hey, you got it, Don. I appreciate all you do for the community, and have a great Easter. And Donnie Jr., I saw some of those pictures on Facebook. Man, that looked like an epic hunt. Congratulations, my man.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'll trade you one of those for a tarpon fishing trip. That's on my bucket list.
Here we go.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, you notice he always invites his dad, so, okay. All right, you got to love him, okay? We've got to flip in a break. God love you, Chris. Best of the rest of the weekend to you, and our best to the folks there at AZ Fly Shop. Doing a great job up there. Yeah, you got to admit, this guy's the absolute master with a fly rod.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, I mean, he can cast around the corner. It's crazy. All right, we got to flip into a break. When we come back, Commissioner Guggenauer, we'll get an update on CBD's last nonsense petition on the moratorium on hunting with hound dogs. I'm Don McDowell.
I'm Don McDowell, Jr.
We'll be right back. Okay, here's what we're going to do. Normally, when I speak to the commission, I get 3 minutes. Friday, they knocked me down to 2 minutes. So, Commissioner Guggenhauer, you have 2 minutes. Please state your name at the podium for the record.
Good morning, Don. How are you and Donnie doing?
Life is good, you know. You'll have to look on Facebook and see the. I'll go ahead and text you the Axis deer and the big Elon. You know, he had a wonderful trip down there, and I think that's something we ought to introduce here into Arizona. You know, I mean, the snoring pronghorn are a lot of fun, but the Axis deer and the bigger 1,100 pound antelope. I mean, that's what we're talking about here, Commissioner. Come on.
Yep. And, I got to say, I know exactly what Donnie was asking Chris Rich about the using fly rods, because when you get down there and try to fish salt water with a 10 or 11 weight fly rod, and then you throw the word accuracy in there, let me tell you, it's hard to cast a 10 or 11 weight fly rod, but to do it accurately is like a whole nother level of thing. So I know what Donnie was saying. When he goes, you have to use a fly rod.
Well, that's pretty crazy. What are you hearing before we get into the CBD stuff? What are you hearing over on Roosevelt?
So just as Chris Rich was saying there, fishing, I don't care what you're fishing for right now. It's a wonderful time to be out there. I don't know if everybody got to see the full moon this morning that we had. What a beautiful moon set we had about 5 o'clock this morning. But Roosevelt Lake is at 66% full. That's down 1% this week. They are periodically letting water out of Roosevelt Lake and Apache Lake to keep the algae blooms down this year. They're doing a remarkable job down there. Salt River is still flowing at only about 14% of its normal rate for this time of year. But spring fishing conditions are excellent. People are catching bass. 20 bass out in a day is not hard to do. Crappie fishing right now is the best that I've seen it in years. So good time to be out. And if you're trout fishing, now's the time to be there. Chris was talking about the Game and Fish Department stocking. The next 2 months, Don, is they're the two biggest months for numbers of trout the Game and Fish stock throughout the state. So any of those lakes that he named, or any of our streams that we have, the East Verde River, Hagler, Tano, Bear Flats, Canyon Creek, they're all being stocked every week now by the Game and Fish Department. So fun time to get your family out there. And if you're a beginner on trout fishing, I would recommend the East Verde River, easy access right off the highway. Just drive till you see the signs that say the different crossings, 1, 2, and 3 crossings, and park right there. And it's the river's just steps away.
Yeah, we usually start where the sign says no fishing. I mean, it's like, oh, wow, that's awesome.
I've seen your truck there.
Yeah, I know you did. Yeah. Okay, well, I've been fielding phone calls and text messaging post the commission meeting yesterday. First of all, I'd like to commend you guys for being able to keep a straight face when the CBD folks are up there speaking. It's very difficult. But do you have a feel for how many blue slips you all fielded?
I didn't get a hard count, but I'm thinking that people that were opposed to the petition to not allow lion and bear hunting with dogs was probably in the 80 number. And those that were in favor of that petition were probably in the 25 range.
Okay.
But as we discussed this on the last couple of weeks, we predicted that we were going to hear lots of comments. Some are going to be based on facts, and some are going to be based on what we call alternative facts or alternate facts. And I think that was the case yesterday. So the commission ultimately unanimously voted to deny the 2 petitions that were submitted by the CBD. So that will effectively end that phase of it, and then it'll be up to the CBD to see if they decide to move on in another process with this.
Well, that's kind of what we were thinking yesterday. You know, Reed and I had quite a bit of interest in this, especially it was nice to see the cattle growers in there. I think I counted at one point 16 or 17 cowboy hats. We had the houndsmen in there. We had regular hunters in there, you know, on both sides of the aisle. And then we had the I don't know what to call them politely, the anti-hunting group. Sympathizers, or don't get me started. But anyway, it was good to see the cattle ranchers in there. I know there were a couple of them spoke on the 2-minute blue slip and had good things to say in the meeting prior down in Safford. I think there was 26 ranchers that had something to say, you know, about predation in general. And I was able to bring you a letter from chairman of the Winkleman NRCD, Bill Dunn, that I thought was fairly well written. Because the meeting, James, I don't know if I mentioned this to you, but they have monthly meetings, quarterly meetings as well. The last one I went to in March is generally about an hour and 15 minutes. 45 minutes was taken up on mountain lion predation. Now, keep in mind we still have drought mitigation in water issues we're talking about. We've got federal funding paused by the government, which impacts a lot of stuff with USDA, the Forest Service, BLM, and on and on and on. But the predation right now is huge, not only by mountain lions, but by the Mexican gray wolves. And as you know, some of the funding for the Mexican gray wolf program has been paused. Some of the internal folks from New Mexico have been relieved of their duties, and it's going to be interesting to see where this is going to go.
Yep, I agree with all of that, Don, and I also want to add, just for your listening audience, that your letter for the Arizona Cattle Growers Association was entered into the record by the chairman yesterday. So thank you for generating that letter and submitting your comments there. And yes, the Section 6 funding, which is what the Arizona Game and Fish uses for the wolf program, there is talk of it being paused. There's talk of it being changed. We haven't seen anything officially yet, just questions being asked and responses being submitted. So we'll have to see how all this shakes out, but it's concerning. I agree with your comments that you're making.
Okay, what do we have moving forward with CBD? Are you expecting a lawsuit to be filed as they normally would do?
I don't know that I expect it. There were people sitting in the audience and online watching what's happening. I don't know if this was, just testing the water to see, if something could happen like a ballot initiative in Arizona or a lawsuit. I just don't know. We'll just have to see where it goes. But I will say that I thought that the people from both sides yesterday were cordial. We were actually anticipating that there might be some confrontation there, but all ranchers, all hunters, all sportsmen were just perfectly stated their cases. And when they got their kids to get up there and talk about how they love hunting and how they sleep with their dogs in bed all night, that was pretty impressive as well.
Yeah, that was. I thought it was pretty good behavior on both sides. We were ready to, sing songs and hold hands and carry signs, but we didn't have to do that.
Yeah, that's right. There were no protest signs, no costumes and things that we've seen in the past at some of these things. So I know I speak on behalf of the entire commission. We appreciate everybody's conduct yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, good job, guys. What you do is, for for the most part, pretty thankless. And there's a big sacrifice on your part to be a commissioner to begin with. So anyway, good job yesterday. It was. What one final comment? What was your final thought on the gentleman on the infractions of with the helicopter that was at revocation?
So my thought there, and this is what I was able to say to the audience there, that 99% of the hunters that we have in Arizona follow the rules, they abide by the guidelines, and in this case, we had somebody in a helicopter that was herding elk, and guess who called Operation Game Thief at the Arizona Game and Fish Department? It was a hunting guide that was doing that, and the guides are ethical. And this particular group of hunters or guides, they pick up the phone, they call Game and Fish, ask them if they were flying surveys or anything in the area of Hell's Gate. That's where this was, Gun Creek. And they said that they were not, and they said, well, you better get somebody up here because somebody's flying a helicopter around here. They were able to track that helicopter all the way back to Scottsdale Airport, and they met them when they landed down there.
Oops.
So these guys knew exactly what they were doing. They were setting up a hunt for a future hunt. And so I'm glad that we have ethical hunters that help the Game and Fish Department out there.
There's a term in the back of the game manual in the glossary that says boom shakalaka. That's what you get when you do crap like that. So, all right. Well, good job. I appreciate you guys keeping a straight face to revocation. I don't know how Gene Elms does it, but great job.
Thank you. And hey, a happy and blessed Easter to everybody out there. And we'll talk to you again 2 Sundays from today.
Okay, 2 Sundays from today. But today is Bristol Motor Speedway. And you say?
I say number 48. I think that Bowman is just hot right now. He's running Hendricks. Kyle Larson, number 5, is also running Hendricks in the number 3 spot, and I think they're going to be tough to beat when they're up front.
Okay,
like
you're going to throw the 24 in there as well?
Not feeling it because they're not starting in the top 10. But I know how I've seen Bowman and Larson work together before, and I think it's going to be fun to watch.
It's going to be bump and grind all the way. So, all right. Yeah, I'm there with you. Okay. Going to wish you guys the best of the rest of the weekend up there in downtown Payson. Good job. I'm Don McDowell with
Don Jr.
Fox Sports 910. We'll be back, get this thing closed up, and get on with NAPCAR. All righty, we're just about done, ready for Bristol Motor Speedway today, and getting caught up on some paperwork and getting ready to haul pipe Monday and Tuesday. Thank you for coming down. I know it's an inconvenience to get up, that early on a Sunday morning, and but I appreciate you having here. That was a stellar hunt.
Yeah, it was incredible hunt. I'm glad I could share it. Been on a lot of hunts. Never come into the radio show, but this one was one of the ones that just kind of had to share. It was such an incredible experience. Growing up in Arizona, thinking I experienced a lot of wildlife, but going to that ranch, was very impactful. Seeing all that.
There's some big stuff down there. Oh my gosh!
Yeah, when antelopes are getting 1,300 pounds, it's something you don't see every day. And zebras, turkeys, Rio Grande turkeys intermingling with zebras.
Oh my gosh!
And giraffes intermingling with Rocky Mountain elk. This stuff you don't get to see every day. It's incredible.
Now, are you able to harvest a giraffe, or are they just?
Well, they're not for sale. He has two of them, a male and a female. But look, everything's for sale. I'm sure something has a price on it.
Yeah.
They'll just buy another one, I guess. But I don't know if I'd ever want to.
I'd have a real problem pulling the trigger on a giraffe.
That's a lot of neck meat to have in a freezer for sure. That's a lot of stew. I'd probably last you a lifetime. But I don't know if I'd want a giraffe. But incredible to see one free range. I've seen them at the zoo. It doesn't do it justice when you see them moseying around a herd of elk in the wild. It's just an incredible experience. Asian water buffalo, one of the meanest looking animals I've ever seen in my life. Just crazy.
That's a target of opportunity right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pop, bang. I know bears are the iconic Mexican idol down there. Is there any bears wandering around on the property?
Yeah, they have bear down there. That's just natural in Mexico. They have black bear just like we have here. And again, they go unhunted, so there's quite a population down there.
No.
Not a lot of people hunting them. I don't think you're allowed to hunt them.
No, they're protected.
Yeah. They are there for sure. Down at the Seco Ranch, we talked about drought. We had a drought there in the mountains, and we had just a huge population of black bear coming through the ranch, chased all the deer off. The deer were gone. They vacated. And we had a bear problem, at the ranch. It's about 100,000 acre ranch with Texas style hunting, with the corn feeders and blinds, and we had so many bears knock over corn feeders, eat all the corn, and they would end up eating so much they would just die because they're thirsty. They had so much corn stuck in their throat and all that. They were a big problem, caused a lot of damage.
Well, how far did those, having been there, the mountains to the southwest, I'm assuming is where those bears came from, how far did they have to migrate? How far away?
Those mountains are about 120 miles away, so like from Phoenix to Flagstaff. But they came off those mountains and into the range. We're right next to Lake Amistad, so we're just south of that, just a mile or so. So, and the ranch has water, and they could smell that water for miles. So, we have water holes or tanks over here, over there. They have pilas, well-fed pilas for the cattle, because the ranch is a cattle ranch, working cattle ranch.
I'll tell you, knowing what I know, that is the most well-hydrated ranch I've ever seen.
Yeah, in an area that looks very arid, right? I mean, it just looks like Lake Pleasant kind of terrain, in that area, the desert area, just north of Phoenix or south of Phoenix. That's what this ranch looks like. But water is everywhere. They pump it. They've done a good job of water tanks up on high hills and gravity-fed pilas throughout the cattle range. So other animals can smell that water, and they when there's a drought in other areas, they come right for the ranch.
When's your next trip down there?
August is when we'll start. End of August, 1st of September is archery deer season down there, so I'll be down there. I did buy in again this year. I didn't do it last year, but Eric talked me back into going to the ranch. I kind of missed it last year, so I've been going down there for 7 years. I didn't go down there last year, but this year I'm back at it, and I'll be down there with the Matthews Bow, helping out the doe population.
Still adjusting the ratio?
Still adjusting the ratio. Yeah, we'll start with getting rid of some does. We need about another 30, 40 does that we need to get rid of to get the ratio, the buck to doe ratio, and where we think we need it. So we'll be down there doing that, and then looking for some old mule bucks. We want to get the old guys out and the new guys in.
Yeah.
Or mule deer in the whitetail, but we want to get the old deers out and the new guys in to continue that good antler growth.
Okay, well, we'll look forward to that. Listen, thank you so much for coming down and give all my grandkids a hug and a pat on the head, especially those two knuckleheads down at. Tell them I don't want to see them on the news.
Yeah, neither do I. For sure.
Yeah. Okay, follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Give us a like, and if you have any comments, you can answer or shoot those to me off of huntingfishing.com. Check that out. I'm Don McDowell.
I'm Don McDowell.
This is Fox Sports 910. Take your kids fishing and take your daddy hunting.
All right.